Welcome to this podcast series about biblical celebrations. Today we will talk about Easter or Passage, the Passover clock, and two Yeshuas. The perfect work of redemption at Passover. Passover and the unleavened bread reveal the work of Yeshua. His crucifixion as the Passover Lamb accomplished eternal redemption, while his resurrection as the firstfruits assures our victory. Leaving Egypt symbolizes abandoning sin to live under God's grace. Let's do it.
Dig into ancient history, a lot of the time we're just dealing with fog.
A lot of fog.
You get these contradictory accounts, dates that just don't line up. It feels kind of random. But then you get a stack of sources, like we hang today, focused on the arrest and trial of Yeshua, or Jesus. And the whole vibe is just completely different.
It is. That's almost forensic. Instead of a fog, you're looking at a clock.
Right. And that's what struck me. We're looking at Matthew 26 and 27, sure. But we're layering on all this context.
Yeah.
Jewish legal tradition, Greek, Hebrew.
The mechanics of Passover.
Exactly. And the sources are basically arguing that this wasn't just some tragedy or a mistake. It was a structural necessity.
It had to be that way. I mean, if you look at it just as a political execution, it's messy, it's confusing. But through the lens of a Passover event, the precision is, well, it's actually unnerving.
So let's start there. With that structure, the calendar, the sources make a really big deal about Passover versus the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And I gotta be honest, I've used those terms interchangeably my whole life.
Most people do. Even back then, they were often blurred in casual conversation. But our source really emphasizes that biblically, legally, they are two distinct things.
And understanding that difference is key to the whole timeline.
It's everything. So Passover, biblically speaking, is just one day. It's the 14th of Nisan.
The day of preparation.
The day of preparation. It's a day focused on one action, the sacrifice of the lamb to deal with judgment. The Feast of Unleavened Bread, that actually starts the next day on the 15th, and it runs for a whole week.
So Passover is the single event, the sacrifice. Unleavened bread is the festival that comes after.
Precisely. And here's why the source harps on this. The crucifixion happens on the 14th.
On the day of preparation.
So while everyone is physically preparing their lambs for the temple,
the argument is that the ultimate Passover event is happening at the exact same time.
yes, it sets the lens for everything else. The sources claim that just as those lambs were being slaughtered to avert judgment in Exodus, this event was timed almost to the hour to match that pattern.
Okay, so the clock is ticking. It's the 14th. We move from the calendar to the crime scene, basically. The Garden of Gethsemane.
And the betrayal by Judas.
Right. And, the standard reading I grew up with was Judas was greedy, or maybe a disillusioned revolutionary trying to force Jesus' hand. But our source, it goes much darker.
It does. It says flat out that Satan entered him. But, and this is a key point, it doesn't frame that as some random possession where Judas is just a puppet.
No, it links that spiritual influence to a very specific human vice.
The love of money, the 30 pieces of silver. It suggests that his desire for personal gain was the handle, the open door that allowed that influence to take hold.
But what's really chilling to me isn't just the motive, it's the performance. The breakdown of how Judas actually greets Yeshua in the garden. It's disturbing.
Yeah, he doesn't just say hello.
No. The Greek word used, it implies rejoice or be glad. He walks up with this facade of just pure happiness
Putting on a show.
for everyone. And he calls him rabbi.
Which means teacher, yes. But the source digs into the etymology. It literally means great one or abundant one. So you have to picture it. Judas walks up beaming, calling him my great one.
While signaling the death squad. It's just the absolute peak of hypocrisy.
And then there's the kiss. It wasn't just a greeting. The source says it was a perversion of a very specific cultural norm.
The holy kiss.
Right, a sign of deep, sincere affection, of safety, of intimacy. And Judas takes that symbol of safety and weaponizes it.
He turns the sign of friendship into the target designator. And yet, and this part just stops me every time, Yeshua's response isn't to strike him down. He doesn't call him a traitor.
He calls him friend. Friend. I mean, that detail just floors me. He knows the betrayal is happening right now in real time, and he still uses that word. The source frames this as the ultimate proof of unconditional love.
Loving the person, even as they're handing you over to be killed.
But not everyone is so calm.
No. Chaos breaks out, and Peter decides to take matters into his own hands. draws a sword, cuts off the ear of the high priest's servant.
A very human reaction, fight or flight. Peter chose fight.
But Yeshua shuts it down, and he heals the man. Now, we usually just breeze past this as another miracle, but the source points out the specific Greek word used here. It's not just healed.
Right, it implies a complete return to the original state, not just stopping the bleeding so the guy doesn't die. The implication is full restoration.
He created a new ear.
Basically, yeah. Which is wild. The very last miracle he performs before his death is healing an enemy who is actively arresting him.
And that sets up the whole point about power, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He tells Peter to put the sword away. He says, "Do you not think I can call on my Father, and he will provide me with more than 12 legions of angels?"
Let's do the math on that, because the source was specific.
12 legions. That is not a small number.
It's staggering. A Roman legion was about 6,000 troops. Even if you use a conservative estimate of, say, 2,000.
You're talking about anywhere from 24,000 to 72,000 angels.
That is a lot of firepower to leave on the table.
And that's the whole point. He had the capacity to stop it. He had the nuclear option, but he refused. He explicitly asks, how then would the scriptures be fulfilled?
He didn't come to wage war, he came to surrender.
So he submits. They take him to the trial. And this is where it gets legally messy. We're in front of the Sanhedrin, the Supreme Court of ancient Israel. But it sounds like a court that's, well, struggling.
Struggling is putting it mildly. The source says the high priests are actively seeking false testimony, but nothing sticks.
I've always wondered about that. If they're running the court and they want him dead, why not just lie and get it over with? Why the whole show with witnesses?
Because they still had to maintain the appearance of legal procedure. And the source explains that false witness here has a technical legal meaning. It's not just someone telling a lie.
What else could it be?
It could be someone who is legally ineligible to testify. A non-Jew, for example, or a non-observant Jew.
So they have plenty of people willing to talk, but either their stories don't match up or they aren't legally credible witnesses.
Exactly. They can't get two credible witnesses to agree on any specific charge. It's embarrassing for the prosecution.
Until they get to the temple accusation.
Right. Finally, two guys come forward and say, "This man said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and build it in 3 days."
Now, to a first-century Jewish listener, that sounds like terrorism.
It's a direct threat against the center of their universe. But this is where we have to geek out on the Greek for a second, because the nuance is everything.
This is the Hiron versus Naos distinction.
Yes. In Greek, there are two words for temple. Hiron refers to the whole complex, the courtyards, the buildings, the campus.
Okay, like saying the university.
Exactly. But Naos refers specifically to the sanctuary, the Holy of Holies, the dwelling place of God.
And the witnesses claimed he said he would destroy the Naos.
They did. But of course, Yeshua wasn't talking about the building at all.
He was talking about his body, the temple of the Spirit.
Right. He said, destroy this temple, and in 3 days, I will raise it up. He's talking about resurrection, not architecture. But the court takes it literally.
So Caiaphas, the high priest, he's had enough. The witnesses are a mess. Yeshua is silent. So he just forces the issue.
He puts him under oath. I adjure you by the living God. That's the legal trigger. Yeshua can no longer remain silent. He has to answer.
And he does. He quotes Daniel 7.
You will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of power and coming on the clouds of heaven.
And that's it. Ball game.
Immediately, the high priest tears his robes, which isn't just a temper tantrum. It's a formal judicial act. It's the sign that blasphemy has been spoken. They don't need witnesses anymore.
They have a confession.
They have a confession to a claim of divinity. So now they have the death sentence religiously, but they can't execute it. They need Rome.
Which brings us to Pilate. And this is where the political intrigue just ramps up. Pilate seems annoyed.
He's savvy. He knows it's envy. He sees right through them. He knows this man isn't a threat to Caesar. He clearly wants to let him go.
But he gets interrupted. And this is a detail that I think gets overlooked a lot. The wife.
It's a fascinating moment. Right in the middle of a capital trial, a message arrives from Pilate's wife.
Have nothing to do with this just man, for I have suffered many things today in a dream because of him.
The source frames this as divine intervention, a final warning. Even the non-Jewish authorities are getting spiritual intel that this is a bad idea.
But Pilate's a politician. He ignores the warning and tries to find a loophole to appease the crowd.
And that loophole is the custom of releasing a prisoner. He thinks, okay, I'll give them a choice. I'll put this innocent teacher up against the worst criminal we have. Surely they'll be reasonable.
Enter Barabbas.
Enter Barabbas, and this This is where the source material just blew my mind. I had to read this section twice.
Let's break down that name. Barabbas.
It's Aramaic, 2 words. Bar, which means son, and Abba, which means father.
So his name is literally son of the father.
Correct. But it gets deeper. The source points out that in some ancient manuscripts, like the Caesarean text of Matthew, Barabbas has a first name.
And that name is?
Yeshua.
Wait, seriously. So his full name was Yeshua bar Abba.
Yeshua, son of the Father.
So you have Pilate standing there. On one side, he has Yeshua of Nazareth, who claims to be the Son of God. And on the other, he has a revolutionary murderer named Yeshua, son of the Father.
It creates this unbelievable, almost literary duality. You have the false son of the Father, the violent revolutionary, and you have the true son of the Father. And Pilate asks the crowd, which Yeshua do you want?
That is. The irony is just dripping off the page. It's a mirror image.
It is. And the crowd chooses the false son. They choose the murderer to be released and the innocent son to be destroyed.
And Pilate washes his hands?
He tries to. He performs the ritual, I am innocent of the blood of this just person. But the source is very hard on him here. It basically argues you can't wash away responsibility when you have the authority to act. He knew the truth, he had the power, but he chose political stability.
Over justice. So the verdict is sealed. The crowd accepts responsibility. His blood be on us and on our children, which, the source notes, is prophetic in a double sense. Yes, they take the blame, but also that blood is the only thing that offers redemption.
It's a curse that contains the cure.
Exactly.
So let's zoom out. The trial's over, the execution happens. But the deep dive takes a turn here, from the event to the meaning, and to do that, it takes us all the way back to Egypt.
Because remember, this is Passover. It's all about the Exodus.
Yeah.
But the source does this linguistic deep dive on the word Egypt itself.
Which in Hebrew is Mitzrayim.
Mitzrayim. And this is one of those nuggets. The root word of Mitzrayim is zar.
And zar means?
It means narrow straits. It means distress, anxiety.
That's fascinating. So when the Bible talks about leaving Egypt,
it's not just talking about geography, it's talking about a state of being. Leaving Mitzrayim means leaving the place of restriction, the place of anxiety, the place of being squeezed by life and sin. So the crucifixion, as a Passover event, is the mechanism for getting out of that state of anxiety.
Exactly. It's the escape route from the narrow straits, and that's why the final words on the cross are so heavy.
It is finished.
Tetelestai. It's an accounting term. You'd find it on ancient receipts. It doesn't just mean I'm dying now, it means the debt is paid in full.
The transaction is perfectly completed.
Yes, and the source is very adamant about this. This death was not a victimization by Satan. It was a victory over the entire system of debt.
It corrects that common idea, doesn't it? That Satan killed Jesus.
It completely rejects it. It says Satan was defeated at the cross, not the one pulling the trigger. The Messiah gave his life willingly. No one takes it from me. It was a divine transaction to buy humanity out of Mitzrayim.
But you can't have a victory if you stay dead. Which brings us to the resurrection. And again, the source ties this right back to the calendar.
The Feast of First Fruits.
Okay, so we've had Passover, which is death, unleavened bread, burial, and now first fruits. Explain the agriculture connection. How does farming explain resurrection?
So in ancient Israel, you've got the barley harvest. You go out to the field, you find the very first ripened stalks, the best ones. You cut a sheaf, the first fruits, and you bring it to the priest.
And the priest waves it before God. What's the logic there?
The logic is representation. If that first fruit is accepted by God, if it's holy, then the entire harvest that comes after it is considered holy and accepted too.
I see where this is going.
The source calls Messiah the first fruits. He's the first one raised from the dead. And because he is accepted, because he lives, it's a guarantee that the harvest, meaning everyone who follows him, will also be raised.
It's not just a solo event, it's a prototype.
It's a promise. What happened to me will happen to you.
Precisely. And there's one final calendar link that ties the whole package together. You count 50 days from first fruits.
To Pentecost. Or Shavuot.
Right. Historically, Passover gets you out of Egypt.
Right.
But you don't leave Egypt just to wander in the desert. You leave Egypt to go to Sinai.
To receive the law.
To receive instruction on how to live.
So the source draws this parallel. The resurrection, which is first fruits, leads to Pentecost, which is the giving of the Holy Spirit.
So the arc is, you get freedom from the anxiety and slavery of Passover, and then you get the power to live a new life at Pentecost.
That's it. Freedom from slavery and freedom to serve God. The source argues you need both. If you just leave Egypt but never get to Sinai, you're just a free wanderer. The Spirit provides the purpose.
It's amazing how cohesive it is. When you look at it that way, that chaotic night, the messy trial, the weird swap with Barabbas, it all just clicks into this rigid, pre-existing pattern.
It really transforms the narrative. It stops being a miscarriage of justice, which on a human level it certainly was, and it becomes a divine masterpiece of timing.
And the source leaves us with a pretty heavy takeaway about that finished work, doesn't it?
It does. It uses the phrase eternal redemption. It really challenges the listener. If the payment was perfectly finished, tetelestai, then the redemption is secure. It's not something you have to keep re-earning or repurchasing.
Which brings it all back to that definition of Egypt, Mitzrayim.
Yeah. We all have our own Mitzrayim. We all have that place of narrow straits, whether it's anxiety, addiction, guilt, just the stress of modern life.
The source is basically asking, if the door's been blown off the hinges, why are you still sitting in the cell?
Exactly. The Passover price is paid, the first fruit has been waived, the exit from anxiety is open. The question isn't just about the history. The question is, have you actually made the move to leave?
That's a powerful place to land. It's not just about what happened 2,000 years ago. It's about what constitutes freedom for you right now.
History, theology, and personal application all wrapped into one.
Well, that is a lot to process. From 24,000 angels standing down, to the 2 Yeshuas, to the etymology of anxiety. We hope this deep dive gave you a new lens on a story you might have thought you knew. Thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next deep dive.